Paralysis by analysis. That's what you get from the other guys, but not here, not now, and not ever. This is the Septa Baseball Insiders Show presented by BCWSA. A look deep inside the game from a former player's perspective. The Septa Baseball Insiders Show is brought to you by Dion Square, Septa, Pat Dion Beverage, Penn Community Bank, and BCWSA. Let's go live and get set for the Septa Baseball Insider Show presented by BCWSA. Now, here are your hosts, Phillies Director of Fun and Games John Brazier and former pitcher from the '93 National League champion Phillies, Tommy Greene.
And welcome everybody to this special Friday edition of the Baseball Insider Show presented by BCWSA. I am not John Brazier. I'm sitting in for John. No, I'm not. I'm Paul Jolovitz. Do a lot of shows for BCB, but not the Baseball Insider Show, where I get to work with Mr. Tommy Greene. John Brazier will be back Sunday when you guys are down at the Chesapeake Inn, right?
Yes, sir. We'll be down there this Sunday having a function and supporting the Darren Dalton Foundation. So
That's tremendous.
It's going to be a fun time and for a great cause.
Tremendous. And I'll be sitting in trying to keep the seat warm while we're here. You can watch the show live at WBCBSports.com or by searching WBCB Sports on YouTube, or listen to the show on 1490 WBCB or 107.3 FM, your station in Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer counties. Mr. Greene,
yes,
79 and 67. Phillies 4 up on the wild card as a whole, 1.5 on the Cubs for the first wild card as they start a 3-game set in St. Louis after losing 3 out of 4 to the Braves. Tommy, they got to keep that first wild card. Obviously, this is a special show. They have a special last 16 games. If you're the last division winner, the first wild card, your entire first round's at home. They want to keep that.
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, home field advantage is a huge thing.
Yep, Red October.
And, it sort of shocked me a little bit. And, I mean, like I told you the past few days when they've been playing like they have, blowing games there at the end, having a chance to win, coming back, thought they were going to do it and then lose it. And then look at the standings and see where they're standing. I expected it to be a lot closer than what it is. I mean, we still got a 4-game up. Far as up, but we got a game and a half on the Cubs. But we need to keep that. So we've had some help a little bit, along the way. So now it's time for us to take care of our own business and do what this team needs to do. They need to win. They got to start pitching better.
Well, it starts tonight with Aaron Nola, who a lot of people thought had turned the corner with 2 really good starts at the end of August, beginning of September.
Yeah.
But his last 2 starts, Tommy, I didn't pitch in the major leagues.
Yeah.
I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. I can't figure out what it is. I mean, obviously every pitcher's got his rough spots.
Yeah.
Throw a ball, people are going to hit it.
Yeah.
But with Aaron Nola, it seems like when he starts to go down the roller coaster, he can't stop it. That one inning, is it the pitch clock? Is it metal? What is it? Because if he doesn't straighten himself out, it ain't going to be a long off season for the Phillies.
Well, I mean, we sort of had that question raised before, and I've asked it, and I've answered it this way, in the fact that said he's human. He's human, and they're finding his mistakes are being capitalized on now. And it's to me, I put the analogy in baseball to what I do now a lot is play golf. It's all about your misses. Do you leave yourself a second shot off the tee? Do you leave yourself a shot, or do you hit it in the water, or do you can't find it? The same thing in pitching. Do you tend to hang it over the plate or leave it over the bulk of the plate more, or do you tend to miss it just off the plate, where they don't center it up or that type of thing, where they don't get a hold of it as good. But sometimes the breaks go that way. The bounces go, the three hopper goes through the hole unless then the guy gloves it. It's that type of thing. But
he's
consistency, it's the consistency thing. It's that one inning, it seems to snowball a lot for him.
And it's not really the 3 hopper. It's the laser shots off the wall or over the wall.
I mean, the big thing that's hurt him is the home runs.
Yes.
It's been the big thing. I don't mind solo home runs.
Neither do I.
I don't mind. It's the 2- and 3-run homers that are killers.
Yep.
But the guy's been a durable pitcher. I mean, I'd take him on my staff any day because he gives you he's going to give you pretty much a chance to win. When he goes out there, is he what he was? I mean, pitching a couple of years ago or whatever when he was obviously in the Cy Young running and pitching like he was. No, he's not there right now, but that doesn't mean he can't turn it around as far as next year or if they decide to sign him. And and have that type of year. There's all kind of people's had down years,
well,
and it's just I'm hoping. I mean, he doesn't seem to be injured. That don't seem to be the problem.
That's not a problem.
It's a lot of stuff. It's stuff he can take care of. It's just you got to get on that roll.
He's been giving him plenty of innings. Obviously struggling. Wheeler struggled his last start.
They played a good ball club. So if you make mistakes, they bang.
They do. You don't make mistakes to keep staying in the ballpark against the Braves. Obviously, Topper felt he had to mention a couple weeks ago when asked about it, that Nola is my number 2 playoff starter. Well, he announced his playoff rotation this week, Tommy, barring injury, obviously, or something that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
It's going to be Wheeler, Nola, Ranger, and Taijuan Walker if they get long enough that they have to use 4 starters.
Yeah.
Michael Lorenzen goes to the bullpen. We'll talk about the bullpen in a second, but what do you think of the rotation?
That's the way I think it's got to play out right now. I mean, Lorenzen's first 2 starts, you couldn't beat him. You were hoping that he kind of maintained some kind of consistency, but it went off the cliff after that a little bit more. Last outing was a little better, but still he hasn't been close to the guy that we saw.
And you started, Tommy, when you were a Major League pitcher, you were a starter. I'm sure you pitched out of the bullpen at times.
Yeah.
But you were a starter. Lorenzen was a reliever the first 5 years of his career.
Yeah.
Been a starter for the last couple of years. When he was with the Reds, he was a reliever. How much will that experience help him if he's asked to go long or mop up even in the playoffs?
Well, I mean, no, I think it's a great thing. I know when I did it, it helped me because I was a starter my whole career in the minor leagues and coming up into the big leagues. I didn't pitch in the bullpen until I was in the big leagues.
Right.
welcoming thing. It's a learned trait. How to do that.
Get ready quick.
Yeah.
Man.
How to take care of your body, how to get your body prepared, how to be ready, and how to know when you're ready. I mean, you just don't have time to do. You got to know how to prepare as it goes. So he knows how to do that. And I think the biggest thing it helped me, and I think with him, I mean, converting to a starter a little bit more, I know it helped me be more aggressive. When I switched to, when I was doing some relieving, I had to be more aggressive in the way I warmed up and the way, I threw more fastballs. I attacked the zone. I tend to throw more strikes. I did. But it helped me mentality-wise. I was more aggressive in what I did. That don't mean throwing it down the middle of the plate, but being more aggressive in general and the way I went about my business. And it helped my mentality-wise carrying over when I starting again. I treated it the same way. So, but I was prepared physically to go 120 pitches. And so when it was my time, I went just like I was relieving into starting. That's what I did.
Once you pitch a no-hitter these days, you're not going 120. It's interesting with the Braves, Tommy, lose 3 out of 4, came back late a couple of the games, big home runs by Harper, who's found his power stroke, Trey Turner, who's our smart stat of the week guy. We'll tell you about that in a second. But the Braves, it's got to be frustrating because obviously they are a team with a lot of great players. Obviously Acuna is going to be the MVP, you think, of the league.
Special talent he is.
Yeah, Olsen's got 50 home runs. Third baseman kills him, always has. What's it like pitching against a team? I don't know if you pitch against many of these guys. Obviously, you pitch against some good teams.
Yeah.
But when you make a mistake, okay, they hit it hard, they do this. The Braves, you make a mistake, they seem to hit it to Jupiter every time.
Well, it's an amazing thing about it. I don't know a lot of good answer for that, but how's it pitching against a lineup that has a lot of power? I look at some of the ballparks they play in, the ball flies out of that joint. Yeah, Atlanta's not necessarily, I know about old Fulton County. It's a big ballpark, but it wasn't called the launching pad for no reason. It's up in the air. People don't realize it's up in the air.
Like
it travels.
Our ballpark.
It travels. But our ballpark, that left field gap is ridiculous. Yep. If you ask me, right over there. it's not but like 350 feet, 354 feet or something like that to get it out of there. And that's why you're seeing a lot of those first row home runs and stuff like that. I look at a home run being earned, not something that's a fly ball. Now Wrigley Field's a little bit different beast. It's deeper down the line than it is right there as it's going into the alley because it juts back in and goes out. But it's the nature of the thing. You have to learn how to do things in pitching ballparks like that. So. But you're going to give up some home runs in these ballparks. They're going to fly. You got to understand how to do things.
We saw something unusual in the Braves series. Obviously, Matt Olson hit his 50 and 51st. He tied the Braves record. He'll break it.
Unbelievable, yeah.
He hits his home run opposite field, second of the game in the first row.
Yeah.
And I've never seen this happen before in my life. You might have at some level of baseball. Kyle Schwarber.
I didn't see that. I've been seeing people say something. Go ahead, finish what you're saying.
In a rivalry game with the other team, obviously, guys want milestone home runs. You want the ball back. Your first home run, if you're lucky enough to hit a couple hundred, whatever. But Matt Olson tied the Braves record. Kyle Schwarber went up to the fan up above and tried to negotiate for the ball and negotiated something. Somehow he had a signed ball. Was he carrying in his pocket? I have no idea. You ever seen that before during a game?
Nah. I mean, to me, it was like, as an opposing team, I mean, I was under the thing. I wouldn't have never done anything for it anyway. I mean, that's something for the clubhouse guy or whatever for the Braves over there. The Philly might try to run or get something like that.
I think they were afraid they weren't going to get it back.
Well, I mean, that's part of it. You know, I mean, you're in an opposing ballpark. You know, that stuff happens. I mean, it's a big. You know, you got to try to negotiate deals. But as far as a ball player doing it, like me doing it, that wasn't going to happen. I want to bury those guys. I was going to try to hurt them.
Did you ever throw a milestone run? You ever throw a home run somebody's 500th, 400th, 2,000th hit, whatever? What's the biggest milestone you remember pitching that somebody got a hit off you or a home run?
I don't think I was privy to one of those, me giving up one of those. I don't think.
All right.
I mean, Tony Gwynn hit a home run off of me. I mean, I think it was a grand slam, by the way. It was at right in my end. My arm was killing me, but you know, he was in that situation where he'd swing like that every now and then in the situation that come. If he got in that situation and I fall behind the count with bases loaded, he was going to take a shot at it, and he could. You know,
pretty good hitter, Tony Gwynn. First ballot Hall of Fame. May rest in peace. Obviously, his son Chris.
Oh God,
played with the Phillies.
Well missed man. Yeah,
very well missed man. A lot to talk about here on the Baseball Insiders Show. The Cardinals having a brutal year, one of the roughest years they've ever had. They're usually in contention, not playing spoiler with Goldschmidt. Arenado and the crew, they didn't trade him at the deadline. Phillies in St. Louis tonight.
Still be a good get to have him at third base, man.
Would be nice, absolutely. Phillies are in St. Louis for 3, in Atlanta for 3, then home with the Mets for 4, Pittsburgh for 3. They close with the Mets for 3. 16 games left, 79 and 67. We're celebrating the Phillies tonight with the Baseball Insider. We'll be back with our second segment from the beautiful Humeville Inn, Tommy.
Yes.
Nice stuff here. Little quaint place.
Yes,
good
it is.
Good food, good drink. The Humeville Inn. Come on by here if you're in the area and have a good time. We're having a good time at the Humeville Inn. You can come back with us and have a good time as well right after this.
The Humeville Inn on Trenton Road in nearby Humeville is your hometown craft beer and pub food establishment since 1997, with daily specials and the best place to catch every Phillies game this season. The Humeville Inn has been consistently named the best bar in the burbs. Check out our homemade food specials, changing weekly. The Humeville Inn, at the corner of Trenton and Humeville Roads in nearby Humeville. Visit us on Facebook and Instagram as well.
BCWSA customers, former Phillies pitcher Tommy Greene here. I played on the 1993 National League champs, so I know a thing or two about what it's like playing on a winning team. BCWSA has all the ingredients. They make it easy for their customers to get automatic updates by text, email, or phone anytime there is a disruption in your service area. You can even customize your alerts by going to bcwsa.net. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA, your partner for a safer environment. BCWSA, proven.
The life of an Eagles fan is a wild ride. Some years we triumph. Some years we don't. What never changes year after year is how we get to the game, shoulder to shoulder with our fellow fans on Septa. And this season, fans ride home free from NRG Station on the Broad Street line thanks to Unibet, an official casino and sportsbook partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Plan your trip to the game and learn more about free rides home, sponsored by Unibet at iseptaphilly.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
At Penn Community Bank, we're not just your bankers, we're your neighbors. That comes in handy when you're purchasing your first place, refinancing an existing mortgage, buying a second home or investment property, or looking to tap into your home's equity. Whatever your situation, we pair the latest products, services, and technology that you need with the experienced banking professionals you want. Visit penncommunitybank.com or stop by your local branch to find out how we can make your family's growth personal. Penn Community Bank. Here we are and here we grow. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The life of an Eagles fan is a wild ride. Some years we triumph. Some years we don't. What never changes year after year is how we get to the game, shoulder to shoulder with our fellow fans on Septa. And this season, fans ride home free from NRG Station on the Broad Street line thanks to Unibet, an official casino and sportsbook partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Plan your trip to the game and learn more about free rides home, sponsored by Unibet at iseptaphilly.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
We now return to the Septa Baseball Insider Show presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts, Phillies Director of Fun and Games John Brazier and former pitcher from the '93 National League champion Phillies, Tommy Greene.
I'm Paul Jolovitz in for John Brazier. We're at the beautiful Humeville Inn where the food is good, the drink is good, people having fun here on a Friday night. It is time now for the Smart Stat of the Week. Tommy, brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions.
Yes.
Call them today at 1-866-PAY-EASY. That's 1-866-PAY-EASY. August 4th, Mr. Green, Trey Turner was hitting .236.
Yep, I remember that. I remember that very clearly.
Wasn't driving the ball, wasn't doing much of anything. Wake up, 151 plate appearances later, all the way up to .272, 13 doubles, 16 home runs, 41 RBI, 12 home runs in his last 14 games. He is playing. He is on fire. They got to get some pitching to bolster that, but Trey and Bryce had their power stroke on. Trey's is the Smart Stat of the Week, presented by Payroll Service Solutions. Once again, call them today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for the smart choice in payroll services. Call them again at 1-866-PAY-EASY, Payroll Service Solutions. Tommy, Rob Thompson has a lot to do as a manager of this ball club. Any major league manager. Part of it is when a guy starts going south or a unit starts going south, what do you do? Late in the year, one of the benefits of being where the Phillies are, they're not safe by any means.
No.
With the Cubs, with the wild card in general.
No.
But the bullpen's clearly tired. Kimball's clearly tired. Alvarado hasn't made it back yet. He's back pitching, but he's not sharp yet. Sir Anthony's had a problem. Jeff Hoffman has been friggin' lights out for 2 months. What's it going to take for him to get a shot as a closer and rest these other guys? First of all, to me, the starters have to go deeper into games, and the bullpen has to be rested, and Jeff Hoffman has to get a bigger shot. Address those.
Well, I mean, we're going to start with the starters a little bit. They're going deeper into games. I mean, it was a pleasure to see. It's not that they let him go that much more, but see Sanchez get into the eighth the other night.
That was good.
That was a very positive sign. I mean, you're in the big leagues now. There's no you're trying to save guys, and he hasn't thrown more than 85 pitches in a friggin' outing. Yeah, I mean, and he's been awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, he's done everything that you probably asked for a young guy to do. Come up in the role that he was supposed to fill. He's exceeded that, I think, and it starts it starts there. You know, I mean, pitching. We all know pitching and defense is what is going to win you a championship. You can score all you want, but if you let more in than you score, it doesn't matter. You know, so it's one of those type of things. They got to pitch a little better to keep us in chances in the ball games, and it was a pleasure to see last week. Even though we lost against the Braves, like we did, you know, late in games we come back and tied it and lost it. You know, a couple like that, we had a chance to beat them, and they know that. You know, and no matter how well they did, how many home runs they hit, we were right there. You know, and it comes in one swing of the bat. That's all you can ask for. So, I think you know we're close. We just got to keep going what we're doing, you know, and hopefully get that starting pitcher, get these last couple of weeks, get them trending in the right direction. It's about getting them trending in the right direction, because you're going to have your starts where you a couple of pitches cost you, and that's what happened to Wheeler.
Oh, yeah.
And you take advantage. Guys take advantage of it. These guys. They're number one in the baseball for a reason. The Braves
They may set an all-time record.
So it's unbelievable.
They're over 50 ahead of the next best team, home run-wise.
It's all about it at the time, man. But good pitching shuts down good hitting.
So what about Hoffman as a closer?
Well, I was getting to that. It's playing. Sometimes you got to play the hot hand. Now it all depends on what Topper, the way he feels about things. And the type of person, I tend to think he's, like he said, he's more of an old school guy.
Former number one pick.
Yeah, I know he's poor. But you go with the hot hand the best you can, and depending on the use of what Campbell's done, he could be a guy that does that. Depends on the use of Alvarado and them there at the end. He could be, because he's starting to get those roles, those late innings.
High leverage.
Yes, yep. that he didn't get earlier,
yep.
And he's earned those. To be able to give him a shot at that. So he's getting, tested there a little bit and getting the confidence that he can do it. So why not put him in, if it needs to be. He's a good resource. And that's what you find, that diamond, a little bit of diamond, so to speak, that the Cubs didn't have, or when he was I think he was with the Cubs.
Yeah.
And now he's kind of turned it around or
Signed
found something, and it's amazing to find. We polished that diamond a little bit and gave him an opportunity, and he's taken off. So it's a good thing. So I would use him.
I would use him as my closer, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Put him in a couple games, see what he can do, see if he can handle the pressure, and I would definitely do that.
Well, I'd keep using him in the high leverage situations.
He's in those already, but I think I'd give him the ninth inning and give the bullpen a rest. You got to find a way.
Well, until you get to the point where you're comfortable, you're going to be in, that's when I would do it. Yeah.
You're not comfortable with him? Yeah, I'm comfortable with him.
Well, I still go with my proven guys with Kimbrel and stuff like that.
I don't.
That would be just me. The guys have been there and done that in this type of season. If it'd been a little later, you're in crunch time now. We have to win.
But
you got to play your
guys.
guys. Well,
you see Kimbrel.
There's a lot of guys tired. There's a lot of guys. It's a long year, man.
Yeah.
It's just about getting it done. Yeah.
But Thompson says in his post-game pressers, he said my bullpen's tired, and then he puts them back out there, and then he puts them back out there. Give him a couple days off. The Phillies aren't going to change their position based on a bad relief outing now and then because their guys are tired anyway. I put Hoffman.
The big thing is the starter stepping up.
Yeah.
That's going to give the bullpen a day off.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's going to give them an extra day off or two. If you get a couple back-to-back starts, those couple of extra, that he can use, and maybe we pound some people a couple times, get up big, where you don't use them. You use other guys. Give them the other guys the end, and Covey and those guys.
The doctors certainly ordered that, absolutely, and they're in St. Louis tonight. One thing they missed, Tommy, obviously, when they're in St. Louis is the Red October, which has been Red September, Red August, feel the greatest fans in baseball. Opposing players always say that there's an intimidation factor at CBP that there just isn't in other places. You can get loud crowds in other places, but Phillies crowds are loud and they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
What's it like when you're down there? I know what it's like, too, because I've been down there, but as a former player, what's it like when you step on the field and you really have that home field advantage?
Well, no, it's just you can feel it, feel it down deep in your soul. The as loud as they get, the love they got for the team, they know we got a chance to do things. You can feel the positive vibes from them, and because they can get, and if you get it going early, they get louder and louder, man. It's tough for an opposing team to overcome stuff like that. So,
can it give you a shot of adrenaline? If you're out on the mound, you're getting tired. Obviously, there's nothing physical about an ovation, but there's certain things that get you juiced up, and maybe you get a little bit more out of yourself than you may otherwise. Is that a cliche, or does that actually happen?
I can only speak for me. You can use the positivity, the feeling you get. But when I'm going about my business and stuff like that, it's just like we're talking right here. We hear the background stuff, but you don't let it get to you to where it bothers you. You start thinking about the background.
You started a World Series game. Do you feel different in that game?
But you still concentrate the game 60 foot, 6 inches away from you. It's not out in the stands and stuff like that. You can't get caught up in that. But you can feel it. You can use it beforehand to get you kind of, that pumped up motivation type thing, but it's all about controlling your emotions and using them in a positive way.
Well,
and that's the thing. You're a big movie buff, right? You watch what?
I don't watch them twice, so I watch movies once.
Okay. You seen For the Love of the Game?
Yep.
Kevin Costner.
Yep.
Clear the Mechanism, the stuff like you hear. It's not that we say that stuff like that, but it's sort of like that. You hear the background stuff, but you hear people chopping, but it kind of drowns away because you're in your head. You're talking to yourself about what you want to do,
The Zen like Tommy Greene here.
Yeah, it's that. But back to your question. As far as using the home field advantage, the crowd. Yes, you do it, but like during, like during the play, or I think it's more. To me, it was more like in between innings when everything was. Everything was going great. We were scoring runs, and or after a shutdown inning, they were all revved up because we're back. That type of thing. I used it like that. I used it like that energy, like that.
Good stuff. Phillies tonight, starting in St. Louis. Games at 8:15. Be right here on WBCB. And this is the Septa Baseball Insiders Show. I'm in for John Brazier, a special Friday edition. You should consider a career at Septa. Septa is hiring a variety of skilled trade positions, including mechanics, electricians, plumbers, masons, painters, carpenters, welders, millwrights, and more. As a Septa employee, you'll earn competitive compensation and great benefits, including medical, dental, prescription, and a pension. Visit jobs.septa.org to apply today. That's jobs.septa.org. We're at the Humeville Inn. Come on out, say hi, have a meal with the Humeville Inn. And this is the Baseball Insiders Show. And we're back right after this, Tommy and I.
The Humeville Inn on Trenton Road in nearby Humeville is your hometown craft beer and pub food establishment since 1997, with daily specials and the best place to catch every Phillies game this season. The Humeville Inn has been consistently named the best bar in the burbs. Check out our homemade food specials, changing weekly. The Humeville Inn at the corner of Trenton and Humeville Roads in nearby Humeville. Visit us on Facebook and Instagram as well.
This is Tommy Greene from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. And here's the pitch. BCWSA water and sewer customers, you have a new and improved option to pay your bill that's convenient, reliable, and secure. Powered by Invoice Cloud, you can pay your bill 24/7 online, pay by text or phone, or sign up for autopay to avoid fees for late or missed payments. Visit bcwsa.net to sign up or for more info. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA, proven.
The life of an Eagles fan is a wild ride. Some years we triumph. Some years we don't. What never changes year after year is how we get to the game, shoulder to shoulder with our fellow fans on Septa. And this season, fans ride home free from NRG Station on the Broad Street line thanks to Unibet, an official casino and sportsbook partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Plan your trip to the game and learn more about free rides home, sponsored by Unibet at iseptaphilly.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
At Penn Community Bank, we're your financial partner for all of life's moments. Our checking accounts are designed with you in mind, providing convenient access and 5-star mobile and online banking services to help you achieve your goals. Right now, you can earn a $350 cash bonus for opening a qualifying new checking account with direct deposits in the first 60 days. Visit PennCommunityBank.com/cash bonus to learn more. Penn Community Bank, here we grow. Offer terms and conditions apply. Limited time offers subject to change. As for full details, member FDIC.
The life of an Eagles fan is a wild ride. Some years we triumph. Some years we don't. What never changes year after year is how we get to the game, shoulder to shoulder with our fellow fans on Septa. And this season, fans ride home free from NRG Station on the Broad Street line thanks to Unibet, an official casino and sportsbook partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Plan your trip to the game and learn more about free rides home, sponsored by Unibet at iseptaphilly.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
We now return to the Septa Baseball Insider Show, presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts, Phillies Director of Fun and Games John Brazier and former pitcher from the 93 National League champion Phillies, Tommy Greene.
I'm Paul Jolovitz. I'm still in for John Brazier, who will be with Tommy on Sunday at the Chesapeake Inn.
Yeah.
This is the Septa Baseball Insiders. How about considering a career at Septa? Septa relies on and needs bus operators, trained engineers, and conductors. As a Septa employee, you'll earn competitive compensation and great benefits, including medical, dental, prescription, and a pension. Visit jobs.septa.org to apply today. That's jobs.septa.org. We're at the beautiful Humeville Inn. Slicing and dicing the Phillies week. Tommy, they were down 6-1 earlier this week to the Braves. They come back all the way with some big home runs.
Yes.
Tie the game at 6.
That was awesome to see that fight, yeah?
Yeah, it was great to see the fight. But when you get back on the judges' scorecards, you got to land the blow that ends it, too.
Yes, you do. You got to figure out how to get it done.
First and second in the 9th inning with nobody outs. Tommy, if you put 1,000 baseball people together, I'm pretty much 1,000 as far as sacrifice bunting. I don't like sacrifice bunting. I would never do it earlier in the game. But every dog has his tricks, and it absolutely, the situation called for it in the 9th inning. Rob Thompson sends JT Realmuto up. He strikes out on 3 pitches. He's been bad at home this year, cold lately. But then Thompson says in the postgame press conference he doesn't do that. I don't want to hear that from anybody in any sport. If you made a major league roster in any sport, you have to do anything that you may be called upon. You don't have to be Tony Gwynn with back control.
Yeah.
But pinch hit Garrett Stubbs if you want to. I hate cliches. Don't say, well, you can't take your starting catcher out. Yes, you can. You had to bunt there, and they didn't do it. Did it bother you?
Well, the situation called for a bunt. I mean, is to move runners.
You're not even worried with the guy
is to
first.
move runners, get them over, get them in type situation, which, I know we used to work on, and the hitters, and, we keep going back to our era more so where we saw more of that, but it's the new National League Baseball now. It's no pitchers are hitting. Even back in the day, you saw some guys drop down bunts when the situation called for.
Sure.
To me, I personally are in favor for a guy who's struggling to square around. You don't have to bunt. Square around and track it in and pull it back. You start tracking, you start seeing. Obviously, JT's not seeing it.
Yeah.
Hadn't been seeing it pretty good. He's going through when he's
him?
struggling. I don't know if I'd pitch him for him, but what's wrong with bunting him? I mean, that was my thing. I mean, move a run or something. Dude, that could get him out. He could start tracking it better, and it could get him out of a little slump he's in right now. We need him to be better right now.
I don't like a coach or a manager in any sport telling me we can't do this. You have to be able to do it. That's why you're there.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you bunt, they're going to walk the next hitter, bring up Castellanos. And Thompson said about him, he may not hit a fly ball. He may not get one on the ball if they play the infield in. This is a $100 million free agent last year. You moved him down the lineup. You better damn well count on him in that situation.
Well, I mean, no, you got to. I mean, you got to me, you play the cards to do them,
Yep.
I mean, you got a guy that's been scuffling. I'd rather move the runners. And if they decide to walk the next guy, put Castellanos up there, hey, he's got just a shot as Realmuto of doing anything. I mean, that's the thing. Put him in the situation that, it calls for. I think it's a lost art, bunting, and and that's where part of the game I miss. I miss the little things in the game that means a lot. The moving of a runner,
the condiments.
Yes, I mean it's unbelievable how it's changed, but and I'm okay with change. But don't forget where you came from, and some things need to be done sometimes to do that. And it doesn't have to be somebody like a speedy young guy like our center fielder, that bunts or squares around.
Yep.
Why can't JT do it?
Well, and you got a nice mix of veterans and youth on this team. With Alec Boehm and Bryson Stott, and you got Johan Rojas, who Rob Thompson said he's not ready to call the everyday center fielder yet, but that's in the field, and you got some nice defensive outfield options with Morrison and Pache. But, Tommy, the batting order, we always talk about it. Castellanos dropped down a week or so ago.
Yeah.
He's moved the batting.
He's shaking that lineup up a little bit.
You got to. He always says that he's a player's manager. Yeah. And he said, I wonder what it'll do to the player. Yeah. I can't worry what it does to the player. I'm worried what it does for the team.
Yeah.
I think Thompson's a player's manager. I like Rob Thompson. Yeah. I think sometimes he goes too far and worries about feelings. Obviously, he's got the pulse of the team, and I don't. But you can't worry about what a player thinks. You got to worry about what's best for the team. Am I right or wrong?
Well, the player, dictates on what happens. If he's not playing well enough, there's got to be a shuffle sooner or later that happens.
Sure.
You got to show some confidence in the guy.
Happened with Trey. Happens with Castellanos.
You got to show some confidence in the guy. You got to show him you got confidence in him. for him to turn it around and do things. But when it comes to a point where he's not doing it, you got to back him up a little bit and let him catch his breath. And that's okay. But back to the point of bunting, what we talked about, we got our main man, our guy, the Superman of our team, a square around and bunt. He will do that.
And
He'll
he knows
do
how to do it.
And he's not afraid. He'll do it sometimes, like he did it the other night. I was like, what's he doing there? But he's not afraid to do it.
Nope.
Or whatever. So why can't people do in that situation where it's called for, like you were saying, do that? And see, that's what we work on in baseball all the time, to get him over, get him in type things, and that's what needed to happen in that situation. It didn't happen.
Tommy,
but the lineup you're talking about, the guys being backed up and stuff,
it's best for the team.
You got, and the guys need to, I think overall a baseball player needs to do. It's about not I, it's about not me, it's about team, it's about we.
Yep.
And bottom line, what gets it done? If you're scuffling a little bit, you got to be able to admit, hey, I understand. I'll take that, and go down, or whatever, move down a couple spots or whatever. It could put you. You might see another pitch and get going a little bit, and that's what it's about. And then Topper move you. He shows what you do. If you get going, he's going to move you back up. He's going to put you in a situation while you're hot. So,
well, you're a pitcher, obviously. Everybody knows that, and unless you strike everybody out, Tommy, you're going to need some defense behind you. If they hit the ball, somebody's got to catch it. Somebody's got to field it.
You need your defense.
Well,
it's unbelievable.
One thing the Phillies have done for the minor leagues this year, they haven't really brought up any pitching other than Sanchez and Hoffman, who was signed to a minor league deal. But they brought up Johan Rojas. Obviously, Brandon Marsh has been good from last year. Pache, he's back healthy now. Rojas almost has claimed the center field spot. You're not going to get Tony Gwynn numbers at the bat from him, but your outfield defense is significantly improved. I want to know specifically Rojas, what you see when you watch this kid. He is so instinctive. He tracks the ball. It's got to be a pleasure to pitch in front of him.
It's great. It's great to look back. If I was on the mound, to look back and see him in center.
Yep.
There's anything in the air he basically gets to, and that's what you're wanting. The maturation process is going to be it's just like every big league hitter. Is an ongoing process of him to see how he's going to do and mature out a little bit, because he is young physically and just getting stronger. He's got a quick bat.
Yep.
He does some positive things, and he's done positive things here. Now the question is what are you going to do, with Marsh? Are you going to move Marsh to the left field or what? There's a lot of things got to happen.
You got Kyle in the equation, obviously.
There's got a lot of things got to happen.
Yep.
And to me, I've thought the way the years went on, before they brought Rojas up and stuff like that, I said, when are they going to make the decision to let Marsh face more left-handed pitching?
It's already lefty with Thompson. Marsh has been a significantly better hitter.
I know that guy is. He's close, I think, to doing something.
He's got a
he's
top
26
5
years old now. He's time.
And a top 5 OPS in baseball over the last 3 months, not 4 days. He's been very good.
Well, I think he's deserved the opportunity to face more left-handers. I think they really need to consider that as his career goes on here in Philly. I think he's got to prove it, but the only way he's going to prove it is to get the opportunity. He just can't. He's got to show it.
I want to pick up on something also with the Cardinals tonight, Tommy. The Phillies have been a team, and pretty much every team is like this to a certain extent, where you kind of lose that juice with the Cardinals of the world and the Pirates and the like. But that's who you got to beat up on. Then you get juiced up for the Braves series. How do you keep that juice that you had in the Braves series? Realize that the game against the Cardinals tonight in this 3-game set is every bit as important as that one towards securing their playoff spot. Well, they've had an off day on Thursday. How do they hit the ground running tonight? I don't think they'll have a problem with it, but how'd you do that back in the day?
Well, I tell you what, you look at it, you're in the big leagues. You're placing a big league team every night, and no matter what the record is, I've been on some teams where we were the worst team in baseball in the first half and the best team in the second half, but the record wasn't. We weren't playing good.
Sure.
We couldn't catch up. But we had a great second half. So those guys want to be a spoiler. There's no question about that. St. Louis wants to come in. They're not going to roll over. They want to kick our rear end. And that's the way you got to take it. Is they're coming after us with all cannons blasting. And that's the way, because they're a big league team, we're a big league team. We got to play like a big league team, no matter who's out there.
Interesting that you said that, because you've been on teams that weren't going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Obviously, the postseason was a lot different when you
Pride.
played. Pride, right? You're playing out the string. Here comes a team in there. They're getting ready. They're ramping up. They're excited. And you guys have 15 more games, and then the golf season starts. How do you keep that pride? Obviously, you have pride as a human being, but how does a team as a whole and the leadership in the clubhouse get that team ready to play and say, if we can do something this year, maybe we can knock these guys out of the playoffs. Maybe we can knock them down a peg.
Well,
it's easy to say. How easy is that to do?
Well, I mean, you talk about pride in yourself, and there's you got some young guys on those both ball clubs that want a job next year, and they want to leave a positive impression, especially a team that's not in it, a positive impression on the management and the coaches and the people above making those decisions about, I want to have an opportunity or possibly have a job, next year. So it's all about how you go about your business every day. Don't give them a reason not to, give them every reason to keep you, that type of thing. And that's what you, as a young guy, you're playing for. Now, some of the other guys, that's got the big contracts. They don't worry about it. They got the money and stuff like that. But that's when it comes down to pride. You are a professional, and that's the way I took it. That's the way a lot of the guys I come up who taught me took it. You play the game like it's supposed to be played.
Well, and you play like it's supposed to be played, but you play with different metrics than when you played. Mm-hmm. Now there's 6 playoff teams in each league. Back when you played, there were not 6 teams in each league.
No.
It's Rob Manfred wants the fans involved, more teams be playing down the stretch. Mm-hmm. Do you like the new playoff format? Do you not like it? What did you like when you played? Yeah. What do you prefer?
I like it because the fans are so involved now, because it's playoff baseball. They got their team get a chance to get into the playoffs. We wouldn't have been in the playoffs. It was like last year. It was like we used to play. We were. Matter of fact, our team in '93 was the last year before the wild card.
Last year before 94 the strike.
94 the strike.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was 93. You had to win to get in, and that, there's sort of a pride right there we can take in that.
Sure.
We took pride in that. I take pride in that because it took a year's worth of work to get in. But now it's the same thing. It took me a little bit to think about this. I think about the playoff structure now. I'd say it's great for the fans to see their team get in, and they get amped up, and there's some positive things can happen. We almost pulled it off last year. We got in and we almost did it. So
leadership is such a big part of baseball, T. And obviously, Phillies aren't playing out the string this year, but earlier last year, it didn't look good. And Rob Thompson turned it around, and it needs to be commended for that. But when you've been with a team that's struggling, without naming names, because I would never ask you to do that, did you ever play with a guy who you just thought, obviously everybody's got pride, but maybe didn't have the same oomph he needed to? When the clubhouse, would you go over to a guy and say, you seem to be going through the motions, kick it up a notch? Did that ever happen with you?
Not but me doing it, but I've seen it done.
Dutch?
Dutch would do it. If you weren't going about your business the way it needed to be done, and it's not just Dutch. There was some guys, we had good leadership. We had good veteran leadership on the teams that I was with, because I was a younger guy. And, I learned how to play through that, watching the veteran leadership, how to do things. And you would get – that's why Jim Fergosi and Larry Boa and John Vukovich, they had the better jobs in baseball, because it never got to the point in our clubhouse that it would get to that, where they had to do things like that.
Does this team have a Dutch? Obviously, you got Bryce, you got Real Muto, you got the 30 and over club, Schwarber, Castellanos. They know who they are. Is any of them a leader, do you think, at the level of Dutch Dalton?
I'm not in the clubhouse, but the guy who appears to me to hold water a little bit is Shine Schwarber. To me, it's just the way he carries himself. It's just, that's just, to me, he's been through some battles, and the way he goes about his business. He's been through struggles, and he's always the same. He goes about his business the right way. He doesn't. But it's hard to say. Now, there's another guy that hadn't been playing this year. It was one of those guys, I think, was the first baseman.
Reese.
They
missed his
Hoskins,
leadership. That's what I wanted to get to. Yep.
I think he was a big,
Yep.
and he held a lot of respect because
Yep.
he was like the longest tenured guy there.
Yep.
So that holds water. It does.
All right. Well, we'll see. Reese may hold water, may come back in the playoffs. Rob Thompson said he didn't want to come back cold. It's a long shot, but he's been working his way back. We saw.
I just want him healthy. I want to see him get healthy.
Sure.
I was there when it happened in spring training.
Yeah,
so I was
non-contact.
It was unbelievable. I knew as soon as it happened, I was like, oh my God.
We saw Bryce come back from it. Reese is a long shot, but never say never.
Yeah.
Never say never about a lot of things. The Septa operates a fully electrified multi-model rail system and has one of the largest green bus fleets in the nation. 2 reasons why Septa commuters have 1/3 the carbon footprint of those who travel by car. Visit iseptaphilly.com to plan your trip today. That's iseptaphilly.com. Back at the beautiful Humeville Inn with the Septa Baseball Insiders Show presented by BCWSA. Final segment right after this. Stay with us.
The Humeville Inn on Trenton Road in nearby Humeville is your hometown craft beer and pub food establishment since 1997, with daily specials and the best place to catch every Phillies game this season. The Humeville Inn has been consistently named the best bar in the burbs. Check out our homemade food specials, changing weekly. The Humeville Inn, at the corner of Trenton and Humeville Roads in nearby Humeville. Visit us on Facebook and Instagram as well.
BCWSA customers, former Phillies pitcher Tommy Greene here. I played on the 1993 National League champs, so I know a thing or two about what it's like playing on a winning team. BCWSA has all the ingredients. They make it easy for their customers to get automatic updates by text, email, or phone anytime there is a disruption in your service area. You can even customize your alerts by going to bcwsa.net. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA, your partner for a safer environment. BCWSA, proven.
The life of an Eagles fan is a wild ride. Some years we triumph. Some years we don't. What never changes year after year is how we get to the game, shoulder to shoulder with our fellow fans on Septa. And this season, fans ride home free from NRG Station on the Broad Street line thanks to Unibet, an official casino and sportsbook partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Plan your trip to the game and learn more about free rides home, sponsored by Unibet at iseptaphilly.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
At Penn Community Bank, we're not just your bankers, we're your neighbors. That comes in handy when you're purchasing your first place, refinancing an existing mortgage, buying a second home or investment property, or looking to tap into your home's equity. Whatever your situation, we pair the latest products, services, and technology that you need with the experienced banking professionals you want. Visit penncommunitybank.com or stop by your local branch to find out how we can make your family's growth personal. Penn Community Bank. Here we are and here we grow. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The life of an Eagles fan is a wild ride. Some years we triumph. Some years we don't. What never changes year after year is how we get to the game, shoulder to shoulder with our fellow fans on Septa. And this season, fans ride home free from NRG Station on the Broad Street line thanks to Unibet, an official casino and sportsbook partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Plan your trip to the game and learn more about free rides home, sponsored by Unibet at iseptaphilly.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
We now return to the Septa Baseball Insider Show presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts, Phillies Director of Fun and Games John Brazier and former pitcher from the 93 National League champion Phillies, Tommy Greene.
All right, Tommy and I were talking during the break. I'm in for John Brazier again.
Yeah.
I'm Paul Jolovitz, and the Phillies, after a 17-10 August, 5-7 in September, TG.
Yeah.
And you were talking about and alluding to some reasons. Obviously, they played the Braves with 4, while 3 out of 4 at home, but kind of get inside the numbers there, and then we're going to have a contest for some tickets for people. But what do you want to do first? Your choice.
I mean, we'll do the tickets in a second, but
right.
I just wanted to go over this past week, the past 7 days.
Yep.
You know, and what I had, is reason why they went 2-4 for the week, and it was pretty simple to see. We scored some runs this week. We were 3rd in baseball with 34 runs scored. So do the math. I mean, it's like
5 runs a game.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we scored some runs. And you score 5 runs a game, you got a real good chance to winning. But
almost 6 runs a game. Yep.
Yeah. So, and here's the kicker though. Pitching side of things, the stat line was we led Major League Baseball in home runs given up with 11. And the ERA for the week was 5.14. So we were there close in games. As you see, we were close in games. But the reason why we ended up losing that was because of the pitching side of it. We scored enough runs to do it, and we just didn't get by. So that's the numbers you can see what happens with. If we had the ERA down in the fours, we'd had a better. Maybe you would have saw a little bit of different scenario. Maybe.
All right, well, we'll talk about that in a second because pitching wins games, pitching wins championships. But if you have great hitting, that's good too. The Braves
timely hitting,
absolutely. Speaking of timely, we got a contest, Tommy.
Yeah.
Here at the Humeville Inn, our proprietor has offered 2 tickets to next Saturday's game, Section 211, seats 1 and 2.
Yeah.
All you have to do is be here to win, and you're going to draw a name. We'll see if we can send somebody to the Phillies-Mets game next Saturday, the 23rd.
All right, I'm going to draw a number. Everybody get your tickets out. I don't know if there's any names on the back. I don't think they are. All right, here we go, guys.
Drum roll, please.
All right, drum roll. Here's the number. 891-245.
891-245. Do we have a winner?
Do we have a winner? Oh, back in the corner, I saw somebody raise a hand.
We got a winner. All right, Section 211, seats 1 and 2.
All right, Mike, y'all want to get it?
Our Mike Leeser will get him and or her and get these tickets taken care of and come down and be part of Red September before Red October, Tommy.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Pitching, Tommy, is such.
Yes.
I believe that pitching wins championships.
Amen.
Defense and obviously everything has its place. You don't want to take a team that tears the cover off the ball and say you're not going to win because of that, but pitching has to be there. You just mentioned the stats of a team that had a big week at the bat but couldn't win games.
Yeah.
How do the Phillies change that for next year? To me, they signed Trey Turner this offseason when they should have gone for pitching. I know it's not the offseason yet. We can't even talk about that yet because it's a playoff run, but what do you think you may want to go after if you're Dombrowski in the offseason?
Well, I mean, the capability is here. They got some decisions to make. Do they sign? Do they make that offer to Nola to keep him? Does he want to stay here and take less? I don't know how that's going to work. That's part of the business.
It's
what
the
I mean?
money and the years.
Yeah.
They can't give 7-8 years to a guy.
No, I don't think you can either. I mean, but the bottom line, does he want to stay here, or why? Is it all about the money? That's. I mean, to me, that was the thing we always fought, I guess, with the union and everything. You're trying to they get on you because you're not going after, you're affecting other people by taking less and stuff like that. But to me, it's all about, I'm trying to take care of my family, and if I'm happy where I'm at, what's wrong with that?
Sure.
That's the way. But they got some decisions to make, as far as that's concerned on the pitching side of it. And then you got and they got some guys tied up now with Walker. They offered him the money that he's got, so he's here.
72.
So he's here, and then you got to hoping that.
Do you go after Lorenzen, or is he pretty much?
Well, that's going to be a flight. He gives you a dual purpose. He gives you some things. He can do both. So that's a positive thing to have. Some guys that can do that. But for them to make a splash and try to go after somebody else, they got so much on the books right now. Do they keep trying to do that, or something got to happen? They got to finagle some things, and they got to have some people that step up too. The Ranger staying healthy and doing. He's got to make a step forward. And Sanchez has made a quality step and show. Now, does he get the shot again? Yeah, or is one of the young guys able, or when Painter comes back in, it's going to be probably the following year. That's going to be when he takes the thing. I think hopefully he gets opportunity.
Well, tonight we got Aaron Nola and Zach Thompson. Zach Thompson's going to be pitching the Phillies lineup that has a couple kids in it. I'm interested, Tommy. We're near the back of the season now. These guys are going to be counted on in the playoffs. We know about the 30 and over crew. We've talked about them tonight.
Yeah.
Which Philly, and I'm not going to name them because everybody knows they are, first of all, but I want to kind of leave it to you. Which Philly has improved the most this year and become something that you weren't sure he would become?
Ooh, wow. There's two guys that really come to my mind a little bit that's really made steps forward and done some outstanding thing. One's Baum.
Sure.
And the next one's Stott.
Sure.
Stott's been the guy, and he's scuffled a little bit of late, but he's been the steady Eddie
very much
throughout the whole campaign.
It's righties, it's lefties, 2 strikes, tremendous.
And, I mean, deep in counts, he's not afraid, and he goes everywhere, and he plays solid defense. And I mean, he gives you what I mean. He's made that jump, and right off the bat, being after his rookie year, I mean, he's made great strides and steps forward. Yeah.
Is Bum a third baseman or first baseman if you're Dave Dombrowski going forward? Obviously, it depends on other things.
It gives them. I mean, also you got what you gonna do with thinking about Harper too.
Yep.
So
I don't think he's a first baseman long term.
I
don't think he wants to be.
It's a question. I mean, he likes to be involved. You're playing first base, you're involved in every play. You know what I mean? I mean, in every play. Especially on the ground.
We got to end this show, Tommy. It's a special Baseball Insider show. Yeah. Thanks to Septa. Thanks to BCWSA. Thanks to the people at the Humeville Inn. For the Phillies to make the kind of run they did last year where they got to the World Series and obviously came up just short, what's the biggest key when the playoffs start? Hitting, pitching, the bullpen obviously are all key, but give me one thing that you're counting on to see from the Phillies to turn them into the little engine that could last year in a big way.
Oh, it's definitely, to me, it comes into pitching right off the bat. They got to have the solid start. I mean, the solid starts that gets them, it takes the pressure off those bats and that let them guys play. And I mean, if the guy can give us some quality innings early in this first couple. I mean, especially the first game. Get off the bat like that. It kind of snowballs a little bit.
Well, it starts with tonight. Aaron Nola and Zach Thompson in St. Louis, a team that's going nowhere. Phils need to keep winning, stay ahead of the Cubs, stay ahead of the wild card race. They can play a few different teams in the playoffs. We know they're not going to play the Braves. We know they're not going to play the Dodgers. But the next 16 games will tell the tale, and then it's Red October again. Tommy, I've enjoyed sitting in for John Brazier tonight. Great. We've known each other a long time.
Long time, Jolly.
Great doing the show with you, and good luck to you. Good luck to the Phillies down the road, and have a good time. Again, tell us where you're going to be Sunday.
All right, we're going to be down at the Humeville Inn from 1 to 4.
Chesapeake. We're the Humeville now.
No, Humeville.
We're there.
I'm here tonight.
Yeah.
I'm at the Chesapeake Inn. Excuse me about that, guys. But from 1 to 4 on Sunday, supporting the Darren Dalton Foundation, trying to raise money to fight cancer and glioblastoma.
Wonderful cause. This has been the Septa Baseball Insider Show. Chris Sermer's done a great job producing. Brooks St. Ives back at the station. I forgot Stephen Lawler on our show from Capitol House. I'm going to mention from earlier today. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Come on out to the Humeville Inn, get a great meal. Watch the Phillies, listen to the Phillies here on WBCB as they go after the Cardinals tonight, 1-3. Thanks for Tommy Greene. I'm Paul Jolovitz. This has been the Baseball Insiders Show. Join us again on Sunday when John Brazier sits in this seat. Have a great night, everybody, and go Phillies.
You've been listening to the Septa Baseball Insider Show presented by Lactico. Tonight's show is an exclusive presentation of 1490 AM, heard throughout the world at WBCB1490.com.